Welcome to Quantum Bits, the weekly digital marketing Q&A for small businesses and solopreneurs with Dr. Kim Kuhlman. In this inaugural episode, Kim tackles all things Google business profiles and all the warts and pitfalls that can accompany them. Then we talk about how Wix is now great for SEO, schema markup for getting rich results in the SERPs, quickly review a website using the rich results testing tool from Google and SEMrush, and a little bit about possible issues with domain registrations and how to check where your DNS records are pointing. Questions are always welcome. Please reach out for an invitation to join us each week.
I was going to start with just 10-15 minutes of talking about something. When I sat down to Google business profiles this morning, I ended up with a laundry list that probably would take a lot longer than 15 minutes. So I'm just going to run through it quick. I've got it in a whiteboard. Can you see it okay?
Yep, I can see it.
Okay. How about you, Jay?
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, thanks. So I'll just launch in. Google business profiles. I chose this because there are a lot of solopreneurs and small businesses who actually don't have Google business profiles. Shockingly enough, they are free. Although the caveat with free is you get what you pay for. Google does not put a lot of resources into maintaining Google business profiles, formerly Google My Business. So this is a case of building on rented land, and one should always be careful of building on rented land. And this was proven last week when an acquaintance of mine, colleague, and local SEO guru, Darren Shaw's White Spark profile was suspended last week, and it was a hard suspension. I don't know if he's gotten it reinstated yet, but when the guru loses the profile, the system is broken. If you are lucky enough to get suspended, you can request a reinstatement using the link right here. Actually, this is .com. They are a really good pair to follow. It's Ben Fisher and Greg Gifford. They answer questions every couple of weeks on Fridays for whoever has them, and they are both Google Business Profile Platinum experts. Good ones to follow. They're on Twitter historically, but they're moving over to LinkedIn slowly. A 3 weeks ago, we had the Haktua glitch. Kids found Google Maps. And this is another case of Google not policing itself very well. What happened was the kids found that they could change the name of their school to Haktua Academy, Haktua Middle School, yada, yada, yada. It was rather funny. And for a few days, you could look for it on Google Maps and you'd find it all over the United States and Canada. Google has since put the kibosh on it. If you look for it now, you find parks and things that have the word hawk in them, and that's about it. But it just showcases the fact that Google allows users to change pretty much anything in a Google business profile without much say from the business. In fact, the business often does not even know it's been changed until somebody points it out. So it's really important that business owners keep an eye on their Google business profiles. Another thing is keywords in your business name. Is it a good idea or not? It is against the terms of service, and you shouldn't do it. That said, it's one of those cases where if you do use it, it does work. I've seen it work for our financial planner in Albuquerque. I used them in his business name and it worked like a charm. It still does. And the caveat is if you want to use it, go ahead, but beware. Beware that it could get you suspended. It could get you a competitor who complains to Google either by changing it themselves, which they can do. They can suggest an edit to your name, or they can file a redressal against you. And worst case scenario, Google could suspend you. So if you are dependent on Google profile for your business, don't do it. Next thing is anybody can move your Google business profile PIN. this is the same problem. Anybody can suggest that edit, and it has been used in mass to move, all the garage door opener companies, save one, way outside the city limits. So they don't rank. Ranking on Google Maps is very granular. It's very dependent on your physical location. And if your profile gets moved into, say, the middle of the Great Salt Lake, and you don't know it, there go your rankings and there goes your business. If that happens to you, or if any of these things happen to you, don't move it back or change it back while logged into your account. It'll get you suspended. That's been proven by the people that I'll mention at the end of this whiteboard. They've seen it happen in the wild. So use a different account, a throwaway Gmail account, to suggest an edit to move it back to where it belongs. So that kind of covers all of crazy things that can happen with your GBP listing that other people can manipulate. So we'll move on to reviews. Reviews, ask for them. A lot of people still don't ask for them. I know it's really hard. It's really hard for me to ask for reviews. I'm working with Claudette Markovich, the gal who colors my hair, and I had her create a QR code. Actually, I created it for her. I linked it to her Google Business Profile review link. There is a link buried in your settings that will lead directly to where people can leave you a review. You can add that to a shortening service. If you have a WordPress site, there's a great plugin called Pretty Links where you can brand your own short links. I had her print it, laminate it, and post it right on her station, so right at her point of service. And she's been getting a lot more Google reviews by having it right there for people to look at. Empirically, people have shown, like Darren Shaw at White Spark, Joy Hawkins, that you see a first bump in your rankings when you hit 10 reviews. The second bump is when you hit 100 reviews. This is a case of do as I say, not as I do. Really work on getting those reviews. I need to get a lot more myself. When you do get a review, make sure you answer every single review, especially the negative ones. And when you do address a negative one, be kind and offer to make it right, because potential customers are looking at those reviews in particular, and they will be swayed by how you answer. And actually, it doesn't, the negative reviews, people go, oh my God, I got a negative review. In fact, I got one a couple weeks ago. She got a 2-star review and it blew her out of the water because she had all 5-star reviews. Statistically, it didn't change her review score. It's still 5 because it's 1 out of 89. But I made sure that she answered it in a kind manner and really, really stressed that she wanted to make it right, wanted to have the customer come back and change, fix the haircut because the customer thought it was off center. So do it whether or not you think you're in the wrong. And then finally, never purchase or accept offers of free reviews. These will become a hostage situation and they will threaten to then come back and give you a lot of negative reviews unless you pay them. And that includes the free reviews. So never purchase or accept offers of free reviews. Alrighty. There's a Q&A section in Google Business Profiles. Use it. Have clients, employees, friends, family ask questions that a lot of people ask. Use your frequently asked questions in there. And then as a business owner, answer them. Don't overdo it. Go slowly. Google tends to have a knee-jerk reaction if you change too many things at one time and will suspend you for it. So just go slowly, especially if you've ever been suspended. They watch those profiles more closely. There's a lot of spam out there, especially if you own a garage door opening company. Often people are using fake reviews. If you see any site that has, or any business that has all 5-star reviews and they've gotten 500 some, you have to wonder. And that goes back to the earlier point about reviews. One negative review actually is not a bad thing because people tend to look at perfect reviews with suspicion. So a negative review can actually be beneficial. I know it's counterintuitive, but people are a little suspicious of perfect. If you do get a fake review, somebody or a competitor who posts a fake review, you don't know the client, answer it. Say, I have no record, or we have no record of you. This happens in vet clinics all the time. We have no record of you as a client. If we are mistaken, please reach out to us, that kind of thing. But you can also ask that review be removed. This is the link to Google support for that. Don't overuse it to get rid of legitimate reviews, because Google won't like it and could suspend you. If competitors are using keywords in their business name, you can actually go in and suggest an edit to remove those. If you think they're a problem for you, do it using a secondary Google account. Don't do it with your primary business account. And if another business is using fake reviews, it happens a lot in some industries. I would go to this Bright Local page. Bright Local is a wonderful company. I actually use them for local citation management. I'll talk about that at the end because I forgot to put it in whitelist or on the whiteboard list. But there are things that you can do to fight those fake reviews on other people's sites. This is a great article from Bright Local that talks about that and a whole lot more. And I highly recommend Bright Local's Academy for learning local SEO. Local rankings. Like I said earlier, local rankings are very granular, even within a zip code. I'm monitoring Claudette's, and once we got her major citations consistent across the web, I'm talking about reputable domains like Apple Maps. Foursquare is actually going away. Yelp, those well-known sites. We saw her climb right to the top 3, but in a very small area. And so now our goal is to increase that radius in which she ranks at the top. And again, she's in hair salon business, so extremely competitive. If you're not ranking in the location you want, unfortunately, you have to move. That's one that you will find if you follow the people that I've mentioned. They do recommend that. I've seen it happen. The financial planner in Albuquerque, once the vicinity update happened, I actually saw that in his analytics. It brought in every financial planner within 100 yards, literally, and he was in a shared office. So there were other financial planners in the office, in the building, and in the buildings next door, and his visibility in Google Maps tanked. I highly recommended that he find another location, use his home address, which I completely understand he didn't want to do. And there are problems becoming just a service area business. He stuck with it, and you have to make that decision for yourself. You have to decide if it's worth it or not. But moving is the best thing you can do. Try to avoid using shared offices unless they have a service where somebody will answer the phone for your business during business hours. That's in the terms of service, that is the key. Have somebody answering the phone. PS stores are similar because there are so many businesses registered with the same address. You can monitor your local rankings. I love Local Falcon. I found them pretty much the day they were born because I noticed that rankings were very location dependent. It depends on where your phone is. Places Scout is another good alternative. And if you don't want to pay for the subscriptions with these two, I do offer monitoring on an a la carte basis. Rankings do change with business hours. This is a new, I don't want to say feature, but it's something that Joy Hawkins recognized over the last, I'd say 9 months or so. Your rankings go down when your business is closed, unfortunately. In the photography business and even in hair, we're probably looking for a photographer or a hairstylist when we're sitting in bed at night looking for whatever. So that's not helpful for us, but we have to deal with what Google gives us. Another symptom of it being free. Things that you can do to help your local rankings outside of Google Business Profile. Optimize your website for long tail keywords, especially the landing page from the link in Google Business Profile. So make sure you've got a link to your website from your Google Business Profile. Consider it a landing page. Google Business Profiles are a form of social media. They're best for offer posts. So when you make an offer, have it go back to a landing page on your website. Again, that's building on owned property instead of building on rented property. Have everything on your website. Although the caveat to that is you don't always own your website either, as press people have found recently with the press drama that's been going on with WP Engine and Automatic. Bright Local Academy has some great courses, very short courses that you can take, talking about all of this stuff. And the great one is the Google My Business Management, 101 with Claire Carlisle, full of great information. They have a lot of different courses that you can take, and they're free. Other people to follow, Local Marketing Institute, they have their biweekly AMA on Fridays. You can submit questions ahead of time and they do record them so you can watch the answers later. I've used them. Sterling Sky, they're an local SEO agency. Joy Hawkins does all kinds of experiments and reports on all the things she finds. They're wonderful to follow. They also have the local search forum. I should have had a link up here to that, but that's a great forum to find answers to questions, to post questions that you have on local business issues. Near Media, although I got an email from these folks this morning saying that they are at a crossroads in their business. There have been a lot of shifts with Google's shenanigans over the last year or two and the rise of AI. They've changed their offering and they're trying to stay afloat, but they're great guys to follow. Mike Blumenthal is another platinum expert and always willing to help. And then White Spark with Darren Shaw, the one who lost his Google business profile this past week. He's great to follow on LinkedIn and YouTube, really funny and really generous. All these people are really generous. That's it for today. I'm going to open it up to questions that you guys have. So feel free to unmute yourselves and fire away.
I have a question, Kim. It's nothing to do with the content per se.
No, that's fine.
But there's obviously, I can tell from all of this that you really know your stuff. However, from someone that has absolutely zero interest in doing any of this themselves, what would be the next steps?
I am trying to focus my business on content marketing right now, not going too wide to include local. That said, content that's locally focused is right up my alley. There are companies like all of the ones that I showed down here that offer this, but they're not cheap to work with. Media, they're asking their projects, they want 30K projects. So it's a lot of these are out of reach for small business owners and solopreneurs. I know that the guys at Local Marketing Institute do local management, so they will monitor your Google profile. And I can actually do that. I just haven't set up the service yet with a price point. And I'm happy to discuss what is affordable for you, because I know Google profiles are important, but there's not necessarily an ROI there for certain industries. That said, there are some industries like hotels, which is one of the target markets for Near Media, that it's their bread and butter. I guess I wasn't expecting a question about my services quite so quick. And actually, some of the social media sites or the social media management sites like Hootsuite, Buffer, there's another one that I keep meaning to switch over to. Even SEMrush, which is a SEO platform, they do some management of local business profiles. And I guess it depends on what you're looking for. Are you looking for somebody to do content? Are you looking for somebody to just monitor the profile so it doesn't end up in the middle of the Atlantic?
I think probably not just the Google profile, but also the website as well. Just going through and doing, I guess, an SEO audit and making recommendations as to, okay, this is how, because I've never really consciously done any SEO work to my website other than obviously writing blog posts and using keywords. That's the only thing I've really done. I know that there's a ton of images in there that don't have alt text. I know that there's 1,000,001 things I could do on my website to get better rankings, and I just
You just don't want
No
to.
interest in doing it. None whatsoever.
I totally get that. It's always easier to do it for someone else than it is for yourself.
Put a landing page project in front of me, give me a creative project, anything like that, teaching, speaking, whatever, like I'll do it. But you just get me into the back end of my website. I'm like, nope, no interest, none.
Yeah. Do you have some idea of what your budget is?
No, I hadn't even thought about any of that until literally I asked the question, really. I guess your presentation here highlighted how much I don't know or how much I'm not doing.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's an awful lot that most people don't even know is out there. And it's taken me a long time to realize that a lot of people don't know this stuff because I've been following it, lurking for a really long time. I sold my first website back in 98. I programmed it all from in a text editor, like notebook.
You sold your last website 3 weeks ago.
Yes. And Wix is kicking my butt, but I'm getting my hands around it.
Yeah, I didn't really know what to do with that one.
Didn't Wix used to be something that traditionally didn't play very nicely with SEO, and now
Yes,
they do?
Yes. In fact, 2 years ago, I would have said, run fast, run far. And I did tell the gal that did my hair in Albuquerque, I told her that 4 years ago when we moved from Albuquerque, well, 3.5. But her argument was, and I couldn't argue with it, that it was something that she could maintain herself. And then it was spring of a year and a half or a year ago that I had a photography client who's also a ski instructor up at Park City Mountain. She was lamenting that she was getting the overflow traffic or clients from her competitor, whose website was very simple, done on Wix it wasn't, she didn't even know that it was Wix, that was built by the woman's high school son. And so my natural curiosity got the best of me, and I started investigating. And my photography client's site, very large, lots of content on WordPress, which is really good for SEO just because that's the way it was built. But Google couldn't understand her because she also talked about her acting and her modeling and local ski things that would be applicable to a private ski instructor, right? But when I asked SEMrush, when I did the analysis there, her top ranking search was ski model, which has nothing to do with ski instructor. So her content strategy was shooting herself in the foot. Meanwhile, I dug into the competitor's website, discovered it was on Wix, discovered that Wix was automatically putting in her local business schema, which is microdata underneath the site. I can talk about that next week because I think it's really important, but it is a really complex and coding issue under the hood. But just as a quick aside here, I'm going to share my screen. Let's see. And let's go to rich results. Google has a rich results test. It's linked to Google Search Console, but let me just put in HTTPS, my chili dog site. So it's checking the homepage of my website for what we call rich results, which are everything from images that are able to show up in image search. So image metadata. I forgot to check. Can you see my screen?
Yep.
Okay. So on this homepage, I've got schema markup, or this microdata, set up for these 4 images. So English Springer, I've got Great Dane, Wasatch State Park, Pit Bull Mix, Dog Rescue Shelter. I've got my keywords in the titles for these. I'm glad to see that WebP is finally showing up in rich results because it wasn't eligible a few months ago. And all of this microdata is underneath. You have to have a licensing agreement URL, which I also use for the copyright notice. You can assign the name of the creator, the kind of creator, the credit text, and it's all under this image object schema. And you can find more about this at schema.org. It's a very large library of different schema types that the different browsers or search engines use to understand a site better. And these seem to be really important in the age of AI, because a lot of the things that Google is pulling for AI overviews, and I've seen this on Perplexity as well, they're pulling things from the rich results like featured snippets. They're pulling those things into those AI overviews. Let's go back here. Local business. This is one that a lot of people are missing. It's a local business schema. And this is what Wix is doing automatically once you put in your business address into the settings. And this has a big effect on that local ranking, because at Park City Mountain, my client requested a postcard. They were still sending out postcards at that point. I'm not even sure they're doing that now. A lot of times they'll demand that you do a video, and you've got to have the signage outside the building in the video, and you have to upload it within a really short amount of time. So imagine your office is in a skyscraper on the 20th floor, and you got to show your signage at street level. Darren Shaw helped a gal with something similar to this not very long ago, and he did a whole series of YouTube videos that are really worth watching. She dodged traffic to get the picture of her signage in the video, and then dash in and go up the elevator and get it uploaded before time expired. It was really weird, really sad, actually, that Google has to go through such contortions. They used to require that you upload your business license and other things in order to verify your business. I've actually never had to do that, mercifully. Now that I've said that, they'll come after me, but I've gotten businesses verified instantly. We started a business for my husband back in February, and I don't know if it's the fact that I've had business profiles for forever that they trust me that much, but it went right through. I was really quite surprised. Making sure that this local business schema is on your site is really important for local. And then you've got your review snippets, organization, breadcrumbs, site links, search box. That's actually going away. Another one is FAQ schema. Google has said that they're not using it anymore, but I think it's just another one of their fibs. There was a big leak in March, and people have finally come to realize how much Google has been misdirecting us over the years on purpose. And I think FAQ schema is another one of those, because I use it on a lot of my blog posts, and it helps me to get into, people also ask markup. So if I did, let's see, pet photography near me. If I do this search, that's interesting. I've never come up first before. Right here, people also ask. Those are rich results. They're called PAAs. There's way too many acronyms in SEO. It's a lot like NASA that way. But these are questions that you can be answering in your Q&A on your Google business profile. There are questions that you can be answering in your blog posts. You can write a whole blog post on one if you like. But having that FAQ schema helps Google to understand that these are questions people are asking. It also helps you get into a new feature called Things to Know. Let's see, I don't see that in here, but that's a relatively new kind of featured snippet. Featured snippets are another rich result. They've been around longer, and those are the ones that we're seeing empirically ending up in Google AI overviews. So optimizing them for them is a good thing. Anyway, I hope that helps.
Yes,
Anything
thank you.
else?
I just ran my website on that same page and didn't come back with very much. So clearly I need some help.
Let's talk about that offline.
Yeah.
And I'll show you, there are several services, and I know Charlotte Corinda has mentioned some of these, like Moz. Some of them have limited premium services. I've been using SEMrush forever. This is one of the tools that I use when I audit a site.
Oh, you're going to get all the red flags of mine.
Do you mind if I look at yours?
Go for it.
Okay. First, I got to remember, let's see.
Tiene. Yeah.
You need more reviews, dear.
I know.
I know how hard it is to ask. Okay.
It's not the asking, it's the getting.
So you, okay.
Yeah.
It is against Google's terms of service to offer something for a 5-star review. That said, there's nothing that says you can't offer something for a review. You just can't say or demand that it be a 5-star.
Yeah.
You could also offer a value added or a value add for the review, and think about the language that you're using to ask for that review. Maybe run it by ChatGPT, because yeah, I know how difficult it is to get people to follow through, especially with putting in the keywords that you want them to use, because keywords in the reviews do make a difference. So you've got a lot of images in the SERP features. Search engine results page is SERP. Video is a little difficult to get. I've tried to do that using embedded from YouTube, but if you transcribe the content of the video and put it on the page, it will not be eligible for a video SERP feature. They want the page to be strictly the video. That said, linking from YouTube is a good thing, because Google or YouTube is or at least it was, I think it's got competition now, the second largest search engine on the planet. And linking YouTube with your website is always a good thing. Review schema could really help you. Getting those featured snippets would help you. Top stories is really for news organizations. I don't even see people also ask for things to know listed here. So those are opportunities as well for you. That said, whatever you did on August 15th helped as far as your traffic goes. Without digging in further, I don't know if that was due to a post that you made or something on social media, or maybe your email campaign about the Wales trip.
The Wales trip directs to a Canva website, actually. So August 15th. Interesting. No, there should be a spike on October 25th because I launched a collaborated project. But yeah, August 15th, I'll have this interesting.
Remember, this is an estimate. Even Google Analytics isn't perfect, because a lot of people are using ad blockers or third-party cookie blockers or Safari, which doesn't, any traffic from Safari does not show up in Google Analytics. Even the Brave browser, that's Chromium, people can turn off all monitoring. So even Google Analytics and Search Console are not perfect. This is an estimate from clickstream data that they're getting from a third party. Although I can link my Google Analytics and Search Consoles to SEMrush. But if we go down, you're ranking for Appaloosas. If somebody wants, you're the one.
Yeah, but that post was forever ago. That's an old blog post for a horse I don't even own anymore.
Have you looked at the search results recently? They are showing things from a decade ago or more, even on Reddit.
Yeah, I don't know why so many of my search results are like semi-related to my business, but not really. I looked at them yesterday and most of them are ranch related.
Yeah.
Which is where my business started.
These are considered commercial intent, which commercial and transactional are weirdly similar. Commercial, they're actually looking for a service. In this case, they're probably looking to buy an Appaloosa Mini. You really need to think about intent when you write content. Informational is most of the internet, and you're getting 18% of your traffic from that search alone. And most of your traffic has to do with Appaloosa, at least the way it looks here.
Yeah,
and I like to have multiple.
That would only be one blog post.
Yeah. So then we need to think about conversion optimization. How do you get the people coming to that post to convert or sign up for your newsletter? And that's something I need to do on my photography site. That's a lead magnet. What can you offer them, whether it's a lead magnet, whether it's a coupon, an offer, a guide to getting your horse ready for a shoot like Corinda has, or anything they find of value. That's the main thing to think about, is what can you provide your potential ideal client that they find valuable, that they can't live without, whether it has to do with your business or not. I tell maternity photographers, for instance, find all of the best local doulas, best local midwives, the best local baby clothing stores, or the luxury ones, and call them out. Do a blog post on them, with them, collaborate with them, co-market with them. That may not be directly related to photography, but it's what your ideal client is looking for. And ChatGPT is actually, if you tell it it's an expert in marketing, I forget the exact, there are all kinds of roles that you can tell it to be around marketing. It can really help with some of that.
Cool, thank you.
Absolutely. But no, the good news is your traffic's going up. I don't trust this figure at all these days. I've got to get back with them as to why it's not jiving with the data I pulled from Google AdWords, what used to be called AdWords. But that's something you can manually check. Let's see. So yeah, you're actually starting to get ranked for some of these SERP features, which is a good thing. But I always tell people, when it comes to SEO and content and all kinds of marketing, there's got to be an ROI. The caveat is you have to experiment with all the things. In my photography, I got the most traction from actually showing up at dog events, showing up at farmers markets or the Park Silly Sunday market. I'm still getting people coming in the door from that, and I haven't marketed there for a year. So that's that in a nutshell. Anything else?
Kim, I gotta run because I got another meeting, but thank you so
Sure.
much. I'll be in
Oh,
touch.
absolutely. Yeah, let me know if you want to chat.
Thanks.
Offline.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for coming. Jay, I know you're on your phone. Any
Yeah.
questions? Other than your blog?
No, I saw something the other day that talked about having an FAQ on a blog post could
Yep.
improve your SEO.
Yep. Yep. But really only if you put that FAQ schema underneath. Even though Google says they don't use it anymore, I'm convinced that they do. And it actually still does show up in Google search or Search Console. So let me go to Google Search Console, show you right there. It's still in the enhancements right here.
Oh, sorry, I didn't enlarge my screen.
Oh, that's okay. No, it's still in the enhancements under Google Search Console, even though they say they've deprecated it. So I don't believe most of what they say. And I know people have literally said, do the opposite of what they say in some cases, because they are so good at misdirection.
Anyways, I got to go too, because I'm
Yeah.
working on a little project for someone.
Got it.
I do have a question that doesn't relate to this, because I just
Sure.
got an email from Google that said my domain expired because it didn't re-register. And that's my barkerhrs.com.
Oh, okay. It's probably still in redemption.
But the thing is, I pulled it out of Squarespace and moved it to WordPress. And I got a free year with WordPress. I'm guessing I've got an automatic trigger from Google that just has a date and says on this date.
Oh, I hope so. But yeah, it says the name servers are WordPress.com. I would go into WordPress.com and double check.
Are you able to confirm that I'm like still out there on the web?
Yeah, I just went to ICANN, so ICANN.org. Just Google look up at and it'll take you to the registration data lookup tool.
Oh, you know what I might have to do? I didn't move my domains.
Let's see. Am I still sharing my screen?
Yeah.
Because it says it's registered. The expiration on that on barkerhrs.com is November 5th of 25.
Okay. So with my Google site, so I've got a Google site where I manage the Barker email and everything out of.
Okay.
Do I have to tell them that the domain changed?
No, you shouldn't have to. I can't tell you without looking at the actual DNS records, but I have a similar situation with most of my sites, like chilidogphoto.com. It points at a WordPress site that I host on DigitalOcean. So it's a virtual server. All of the mail records, the MX records, they point to Google. So I'm thinking the same thing is going on there. When you transferred the domain from Google or Squarespace to WordPress.com, they probably copied all of the records. And so the MX records still point to, in fact, let's see, let's look. Whoops, Google Dig tool. We can actually look. So the A record points to this IP address. I'm assuming that's WordPress.com. We know that the name servers point to, we know that the name servers point to WordPress.com. So they're handling all of that. They're handling actually all of the DNS. And then your MX records, which are your mail records, they're all pointing at Google. Yeah, you should be fine. I don't know why Google would automatically do that, but I'm sure that's part of migrating everything to Squarespace and yada, yada.
Yeah, now that I'm looking at it, I'm thinking that it's probably some reason auto-generated.
Yeah. Better to get the notification than not.
No, for sure.
I've owned ApolloEffect.com for years, and I somehow managed to let it expire, and I had to go after it on the secondary market in bidding. And fortunately, some scammer sent me an email saying, we have this domain and it might be one like yours. And I'm like, oh crap. And I went looking, and it had just expired and was going to auction. And so I went on a couple of different services that help you claim domains that have expired via auction. And it cost me extra money, the price of being silly, of not paying attention. And I did get it back, but yeah.
Paid some education tax.
Yes, absolutely.
So I think in terms of this format that you've delivered this, because the group and the attraction is small, it was like 2 people. I'm wondering if you just do a Zoom meeting. Something like this would be good to control, I would say, more than 10 people.
I think you're right.
And I think the Zoom functionality is, I'm going to say, more intimate, such as that intimacy is over online. But it's you get the face, you get the.
Yep, I totally agree. I've never done a webinar before, so I thought I'd give it a shot, and I totally agree with you. I'm going to go back to meetings.
So this is a webinar set up through Zoom.
Yes.
Okay.
It gives you the Q&A feature. I think I don't know if that's in the meeting interface or not, but yeah, I prefer the more intimate face-to-face. But thank you for your feedback. I appreciate it.
No.
And any other feedback you've got, I'm all ears.
Keep plugging away at it. And I think don't be discouraged.
I fully expected to be talking to myself. I only invited a handful of people, well, maybe 8. So okay. I'm happy.
You invited 8, so you got 25%.
Not bad for a first time, you know?
But anyways, her point was good in the sense you do know what you're talking about, right? So there is some definite quality there. And that's usually what brings people in, right? And how do you spread the word
Yeah.
on that?
And I deliberately have not spread the word yet because I wanted to test things out before I, went big. I am building or considering an affiliate program. I have various photography Facebook groups that I have approached about spreading the word to their members. Some will, some won't.
For this one,
I just want to help people at this point, the small and solopreneurs
I'm the
don't
same
know
way.
what they don't know.
I'm the same way, and I end up giving away so much of myself. What I would recommend you do is the LinkedIn post based on this session. I'm sure you were going to, and then I'll share it out. Not that my reach goes very far, but what's that?
Mine either. And it would be to people that are really well versed in this game.
Here's the deal. Like, I love AI, and this is my realization that my specialty is writing. It's not marketing. And I follow all these marketing SEO type people like you. And that's probably how I found you. It's all the
It was through the AI.
Yeah, it's through AI, but all the AI people I linked into are all into marketing.
In marketing, yeah.
And by and large, there are other people. I know one guy's in recruiting. So there are other people. So I want to differentiate. That's why I want to differentiate. So that I can say I'm a writer, but I'm not a marketer. And that's why I have books that don't sell.
They don't sell yet.
They don't sell yet. It's stages. That's the web page is going to be the launch pad, I think, for a lot of my stuff. And like you said, you more or less own the real estate. So you're not going to get suspended from yourself. And
I've seen every single platform suspend people.
So I'm going to leverage that and just figure out marketing.
Yeah, marketing is challenging, to say the least.
Well, there's science and magic to it.
Yes.
And you can do all the science, but if you don't have magic, you might as well not know all the science. And this is what I'm gleaning from people.
And it does take a village when it comes to the magic, I think.
Yeah, and luck. And I would say luck is a different, or sort of a cousin of magic, but it's not magic. Luck is it just happens, and there you are. Okay, I gotta get going. And so good talk.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming, and that's a wrap.